Welcome back to Common Core Unit 2, Part 2. But before we begin, let me show you the bravest reporter I've ever seen.
It looks like Ruben is in the lead, and here comes Al. And this is a bad idea. At Riverside Park, Rob Lett, Global News.
Okay, so let's get started. Common Core Outline Unit 2, second smartboard part. We're going to do a bit of a GAN spiral review, but we're going to give you a quick read just to make sure that you remember what we had to do here. Balancing equations with an equal sign. Quick review. So teeter-totter. Well, imagine a teeter-totter. Now, how does a teeter-totter work? Well, if you remember, you have to have people on both sides. One on this side and one on this side. And they should be about the same size. And the idea is when one pushes up and the other goes down, then they push down, the other goes up. But the point is, if you want to add more than one person to the teeter-totter, you can do that, but if you add it to one side, you have to add it to the other. One side, the other side, and the middle is like the fulcrum, or the center point. Now, the middle is basically an equal sign. That's the balancer. So if you do it to one, you have to do it to the other, and that's the key. So let's say I said that 2x equals 2x. Now, it doesn't matter what 2x is. But whatever it is, if I got 2 over here, and 2 over here, or 2x over here, and 2x over here, or 10 here, or 10 here, it has to be equal. 3 equals 3. 3 blocks equals 3 blocks. It's all the same. Now, if you add something to one side, you have to add it to the other. So if I have 4 equals 4, that's fine. But then if I add 3 to the left side, I have to add 3 to the right side. Because then it would make 7. 7 equals 7. And remember, if I have this here, x plus 5 equals 12. Now, okay, answer 7, so we already know the answer, but let me show you what I want you to do. The x has a plus 5 next to the side of the teeter-totter, so to get rid of the plus 5, we'll do the opposite. So in other words, to get rid of a plus 5, I must subtract 5. But if I subtract 5 to one side, you have to do it to the other. Look at it this way. If you have a younger brother and sister, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. But you ever told them to do something and they do the exact opposite of what you tell them to do? Well, this is the same. In order to get rid of a plus 5, you have to do the exact opposite. So instead of plus 5, you have to minus 5. But if you minus 5 on one side, because it's an equal sign, you minus 5 on the other. You can add or subtract all day long, and you're fine if it's an equal sign, as long as you do it to both sides. So minus 5 here, minus 5 here. This goes away, and this makes 7. So really x plus 0, because 5 minus 5 cancels, you can just get rid of the plus 0. So you can say, okay, well, this goes away, and x equals 7. Now, how do you know if that's true? We'll just drop it in. If this becomes 7, does 7 plus 5 equals 12? And of course the answer is yes. That's the way to check your work. So it's a good practice to get into. Now j minus 5 equals 16. So all you have to do, instead of minus 5, we're going to add 5. But if you add 5 to one side, add 5 to the other. So plus 5, and that gets rid of that, so that goes away. And 16 plus 5 is 21. That's true if I could drop that in there. Will 21 minus 5 equals 16? The answer is yes, so you know you're good. You tried. Go ahead and give these 3 a try. Go ahead this time. Let's see how you did. You add 22 to both sides, so you're going to get 21 to both sides. You're going to get 26. Minus 3 to both sides, you get 18. And minus 20 to both sides, you get negative 20. And if you put those all back in there, you would get the correct answers. Skills practice. Try these 3 once I move this down a little bit. Go ahead and try these 3. Pause this time. Let's see how you did. Add 45 to both sides, and you get 50. Minus 12 to both sides, you get 39. Minus 14 to both sides, you get negative 14. Quick review. An example here, same as before, just minus 4 to both sides. We just did this. Now, it's on the other side, so 11 equals x, or x equals 11. It doesn't matter which side the variable's on at this time. When I get to less or greater than, it will. But for right now with equals, x can be either or. However, the preferred method is that the variable would be on the left side. Does it have to be? Not yet, but we're getting there. But sometimes the answer might stay a negative. So in other words, instead of plus 4, we're going to minus 4. Minus 4. Remember, when you're adding 2 negatives, it makes a larger negative. So negative 5 minus 4 makes negative 9. And your favorite, fractions and decimals. So instead of plus 5.2, you minus 5.2 to both sides, and you get 14.8. And instead of minus 3 1/4, you're going to add 3 1/4. You remember, 8 plus 3 makes 11, and 1/4 comes along for the ride. Alright, so try these three. Let me move this up a little bit so you can do all of them at once you pause. So try these three. Go ahead and pause. Let's see how you did. The first one I have 11 2/3. Then I have, because I'm minus 6.9, I get 14.9. And I added 8, because remember that it's negative 8, but instead of minus 8, we're going to add 8. So it's going to be 137.4. Skills practice. I'm going to move this up so you can get all three at once. Go ahead and pause this time. Let's see how you did. You added 2 1/3 to get 8 1/3. You minus 3.4 to get 6.8, and you added 2 to both sides to get 14.7. Now this. So suppose I have two measurements here, and together these two are going to form 180. Now the reason why is if you have a straight line that goes across, you put these two things together, it would make 180. Now the idea is I need to know the angle of this line plus 94. So what I need to know is that both angles together will make 180 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well, angle X plus angle Y would equal 180. So X plus 94 equals 180. Now again, I don't know X, but I know Y was 94. So X plus 94 equals 180. Well, if you remember, in order to get rid of plus 94, think of that little brother-sister doing the opposite of what you tell them. So instead of plus 94, we're going to minus 94. You minus 94 on one side, minus 94 on the other. So both are minus by 94. This goes away, and this becomes 86. Now you try. So again, we're going to say two angles here that make up 180, so 65 plus something. So what I want you to do is write X plus 65 equals 180, and can you find the answer? Go ahead and try. Let's see how you did. Got this, you minus 65 to both sides, and I hope you got 115. Skills practice, go ahead and try. Well, there's going to be two of them here. I'm going to have you pause once and twice. Try to solve this one first, then try to solve this one. Remember, this means pause if you need to work on it. Let's see how you did. Well, if this is 25, X plus 25 equals 180, you're going to subtract 25 to both sides and get 155. How do you know that, by the way? If you drop 155 back in, 155 plus 25 will equal 180. And here, X plus 112 equals 180, minus 112 to both sides, and boom, 68 degrees. Now, after you knew something new. After you withdraw $50 from your savings account, the balance is $124. Write and solve an equation to find your starting balance. So again, I've subtracted 50 bucks. And now my balance is 124, but I want to know what it was like prior. So normally I'd have you write all this down, but because we're doing flip class, just go ahead and make a note here. First, we have to decide what's happening, that we are taking money out of our savings account. This means I would set up a flow chart. We need to put together a sequence of events. In other words, what happened first, what was here, what happened, and what resulted. So I have my original amount of money. Then what happened, and then not my original amount, but now my new amount of money. So, next page. Original amount, what happened, new amount. After you withdrew $50, so we're going to say we minus 50 bucks. And after I minus 50 bucks, I know I have left is 124, which means the new amount of money, because balance means money left, 124. So the only thing I don't know is what I started with. Well, I don't know what I had, but when I minus 50 bucks, I have 124. Well, now I know what to do, because instead of minus 50, I'm going to add 50. But if you add 50 to one side, add 50 to the other. So instead of minus 50, you add 50 to one side, add 50 to the other, you get 174. And that's minus 50 here. So 174 minus 50 would equal 124. Okay, do a U-try for me. After you withdraw 78 bucks from your savings account, the balance is $133. Write and solve an equation to find your starting balance. Go ahead this time. Let's see how you did. something minus 78 equaled 133. Hopefully you added 78 to both sides and got 211. Skills practice. After you withdraw $91 from your savings account, the balance is 243. Go right and solve your starting balance. Go ahead this time. Let's see how you did. Oh, do another one too. After you deposit $78 to your savings account, the balance is 313. Write and solve an equation to find your starting balance. Go ahead. Let's see how you did now. First one, something minus 91 equal 243. Add 91 to both sides, 334. The other one, after you deposit 78. Now, I should have told you that. Now, you might have minus, so go ahead and fix it if you need to. But after you deposit 78, so x plus 78 equals 313, you have to minus 78 to both sides. In other words, before I deposit, I only had 235. Now, where will you need to know this in real life? I can tell you for certain that when you have a bank account or when you have a credit account, when you're just trying to pay your bills in general, you need to know how much you spent, how much you have left. And I'm sorry to say, in the days of credit card fraud, it's important to figure out, well, how much money should I have had and how much money did I have before to make sure no one's ripping you off. We'll talk more about that tomorrow in class, but because of time, I do want to stop here for now. We'll do part 2 on our next installment. Thanks again. Bye.